super excited for it to Wednesday night live tonight, but we're going to do something a little different. So we were talking in our student leadership team time this past week, and we realized we haven't done a good top 10 list in a while. And so we were processing different ideas, like maybe redoing the candy bars. If you were here for candy bars, you remember that was a flop because the people that were doing the top 10 for candy bars didn't eat candy bars. It's kind of defeated the purpose. We were talking about pizza toppings, and then we kind of landed on a couple different options. I think the other one they're going to want to come back around to at some point, and that would be just random pictures of me. And I gave them permission. We can roll with it. But tonight, what we're going to do is I want to tell you I'm going to give you my top 10 favorite moments of some of the craziest stuff that's ever happened in student ministry. You got to remember, I've been doing this for coming up on 19 years now. So, like, to narrow it down to 10, and actually we did 12 because I was like, I got to throw a couple of honorable mentions in. I know, ancient, right? I had to throw a couple of stuff. But to narrow it down to even 12, was kind of tough. So I want to dive in. We're going to share some stories. We're going to keep this thing moving along. Rylan, you ready? Let's do this thing. Number 10.
Number 10.
Yeah. That's Farron's voice, by the way, just so y'all know. Not really. Reverse helium. Don't get me off track. All right, who's in charge? So back in 2016, we were at Windermere for lead team, and some of our boys, I won't say any names, not that y'all would know most of them anyway, decided they were going to sneak out a little bit and wander around the campus. Well, security found them, put them on the golf cart, and brought them back. Well, here's the kicker. At this point, Michael and Maddie were little, so we were staying in a family cabin away from the rest of our group. And so when they pulled up, they said, "Who's your youth pastor?" And they happened to point at Jonathan Gibbs. Jonathan Gibbs walks out the door as a student and decides he's going to be the youth pastor for a moment and take the brunt of their misfortune. And he did it. He wore it. He didn't look like a youth pastor. He looked about 12 at the time, if you remember how Jonathan looked. But he wore it, and he took it. So that was number 10. Number 9.
Number 9.
Bring a plumber. Now, listen. This one was a doozy. Not in a weird way, because, like, there's a few different directions I could have gone with this one. But back in 2012, so again, before most of your time, we went to UTA, University of Texas at Arlington, and the dorms were, like, bad. Like, make Louisiana Tech dorms look nice. It was rough. And so we get in there, and then the showers, they were just bad. They were like, boop, boop. They were horrible. So for those of you who know Drew Mills was with us on that trip, ran to Walmart, grabbed some tools, and we bought some shower heads, and we swapped them all out, and then took them back off when we left there so that we'd had good showers for that week. That was my 9th favorite crazy moment. Number 8.
Number 8.
This one's a little more recent. If you were at lead team this past year at ETBU, Holly and Dawson decided to form a little challenge. They were doing a little YouTube challenge. And what Dawson would do is we'd take a pom-pom, and he would shake it in people's faces literally until they said, "Stop." And, of course, Holly egged it on and videoed the whole thing. There's videos floating around. You got some on our Instagram account. I'll find some more, and we'll bring them back around. What do you think, Dawson? Bring those back around? Huh? I'm sure it's posted somewhere. If not, we'll get you a pom-pom, and we'll reenact them maybe in a couple weeks. So 2024, last year, that was number 8 on the list. You know, hey, that's not bad. You made the list. Next year, you got to work harder. Number 7.
Number 7.
Number 7 is another popular story we like to talk about. So in 2021, we were at Louisiana Tech for camp, and a certain someone who was in the room, I won't say any names, Tyler, decided he didn't want to drink any water because he wanted to dehydrate instead of hydrate. And finally, I've only had to go 2 hospital visits in 19 years. I don't want that stat to change, by the way. And Tyler was one of them. And we finally got him to go to the bathroom, and, well, it looked like apple juice. Let's just say that. So what's in the bottle is all about Tyler's dihydrate because he decided not to hydrate. Number 6.
Number 6.
Sarah, you'll remember this one. So in 2018, we were going to lead team at Covenant College, and we had the chance to go whitewater rafting. Incredible trip. So these are some of the things you get to do if you hang around for a little while. Get to go some other opportunities, do lead team. We do some cool stuff. We went whitewater rafting. Well, if you remember, Sarah, our boat, there were 2 different boats. Our boats kind of got turned a little bit and then flung right into a rock. And if you remember Sarah Adams, she went flying. And so we had to yank her back into. That was a one-time thing. We had to yank her back into the boat and get her going. And so that was number 6. Stay in the boat, Sarah. All right, number 5.
Number 5.
Number 5 also goes back to 2016 in Windermere. So we were hanging out. We had an afternoon off, and they had a cave on site. And so we're like, okay, we're going to go check this out. So we started walking into the cave, and we got to the kind of where you really started going deeper. And we're like, maybe we shouldn't go down here. And about that time, we turned around, and there was a guy walking up, and he says, here, I'm here to guide you guys. So we went on a guided cave tour all the way down to the bottom. It was really, 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 really dark at the bottom. I think Jonathan Gibbs got a concussion in that thing. We had to belly crawl through a lot of places. But what's the kicker of it is when we come back out, we weren't the group that he was supposed to be leading. We just happened to be there, and he took us on another group's tour. So that was number 5. It's dark in here. Number 4.
Number 4.
This is a way throwback. 2009, before most of you were born. There was a guy by the name of Colby Cryer. You know, you're laughing because you know where I'm going with this. Maybe not. But anyway, Colby Cryer decided right in the middle of the Louisiana Tech Quad, he wrestled an invisible bear. This was so incredibly believable. We do have a video somewhere. I just got to track it down. This was believable. Like, he looked like he was wrestling a bear, only the bear was invisible. So he wrestled a what? Yeah, he wrestled an invisible bear. It was quite impressive. That's high on my list. Let's do some honorable mentions. Yeah, if you were at lead team last year, this one's for you. Carly shoots her shot. If you remember Carly Foster, our dear friend, Holly, make sure to send her this video. She decided, well, she had a thing for someone who happened to be with us, Mike Artisan, and she decided she was going to go for it. But let's leave it at that. It didn't quite work out for Carly, but we love Carly, but we're going to give her a hard time as much as we possibly can. One more honorable mention, and the reason I did this one, it's going to get wet, is because it still remains to this day. So in 2013, we were at Louisiana Tech. This was student life at camp, and there was one really, really annoying guy from another group who would constantly say, and that is why this is on this list, because as long as that's been, that phrase still remains. So as annoying as that guy was, I got to give him a shout-out and say, hey, it's water day, because that phrase lives on. All right, we're down to our top 3. These are the good ones.
Number 3.
The fact that y'all's face tells me I'll know exactly where I'm going with this. So this past year after lead team, we went and did a zip lining tour. On the second run, the second line, I had gone, Holly had gone, Melissa had gone. We were in our group. A lot of people had gone ahead of us, but we were still on the platform that was here. And we look back, and Audrey Gibbs is coming down the zip line. And they had done a class with us. This is how you brake. This is how you stop. These are the things you need to know. And we're watching. Okay, brake, Audrey. Audrey, brake. You need to brake, Audrey. You need to brake, Audrey. And then she found the tree that the line was attached to. And in doing so, her shoe went and flew off. She lost her shoe. Now, I'm going to add to this one real quickly because we got to move on. Once we realized that Audrey was okay, she was embarrassed but okay, it turned into one of these from me and Melissa. Because, once she was okay, but we had to kind of turn around. We didn't want to. Okay, yeah, we wanted to embarrass her a little bit more, but we played it cool. All right, couple more. We're rolling. Number 2.
Number 2.
Any takers? 3, 2, 1, jump. All right, Farron knows what's up because she's putting her head down. So a couple years ago, we were in Northern Ireland. They took us to the northern coast on our tourist day. We got to see Dunluce Castle. We got to jump and do a polar plunge off of a cliff into the water, or at least most of us did. Holly and I let out. We were the first ones to jump. And then it came Farron's turn, and it took a little motivation, as in Sarah Burley pushing her off the cliff into the water. And that is not an exaggeration in the slightest. 3, 2, 1, jump. No, 3, 2, 1, kick her off the cliff. And that truly, truly happened. Did it not? Absolutely 100% true. That's true. Hey, every one of these stories is 100% factual. And this, number 1, is my
Number 1
favorite story of all time in student ministry to this day, and it goes all the way back to 2009 yet again. We were coming home from Tennessee. We had done a conference up in Tennessee, and we were driving back from Tennessee, and Tanner Bailey got sick to his stomach. And so we had to make a couple of stops to help him with some medicine and kind of keep going. And we had to keep driving because it was a long, long drive. Well, if you're familiar with coming down 55, you hit 12, and then 12 turns to I-10 is what I'm talking about. So we're getting into Louisiana, and we're coming off 55. I'm driving a 15-passenger van. Tanner's in the third seat, not the second seat, but the third seat. And I get onto I-12, and I have to get into the left-hand lane because of the traffic. And then Tanner says, Eric, I'm about to throw up. I'm doing about 70 at this point, and I somehow go from left lane doing 70 to the shoulder, almost completely stop in like 2.3 seconds. It was craziness. The door flies open. This is unbelievable, but this really happened. The door flies open. I haven't even come to a fully stop yet, and Tanner jumps out of the van, doing a twist in the air, jumping, while vomiting, and gets none on him or the van, sticks the landing, finishes his business, and then we roll out. No joke. That's a true story. Really, really happened. And those are my top 10 favorite moments so far, because we are far from done. I know this summer is going to be crazy. We're going to add some more stories to the list. So, all that being said, y'all crazy, man. Y'all crazy. Number 2, you're proud of that. That's really more your mom, number 2, but we'll give you some credit. We'll give you half a credit in that. We'll give Sarah full credit, and you get half a credit. All right, we're going to dive into some worship.